Hi, Max. Thank you so much for taking the time for this conversation today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to ask you something because I saw that recently you were shooting up on the all-time leaderboard in Skool. And so I thought something must be going on there. Can you let me in on what's your secret sauce or what happened there? Did you launch something or what's going on?
Yes. So it was actually a couple of people in my community who started to talk about doing onboarding calls.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember in the February or when we met in March, it was right when Alex and Moses started to talk about onboarding calls as well.
Yeah.
So we basically created a strategy around that from our free community. So we onboard people into our paid school community with onboarding calls. And right now we are getting like 50% of our sales is coming from that. And we can dive into more detail about that if you want to, exactly how it works.
That's super genius. So you have your free community, right? And then people on the free community, they're onboarded into the free community with an onboarding call where they also learn about the paid community. That's what I'm assuming?
Kinda. So how it works is all of my traffic right now goes to the free community. So we're running both ads and we're doing, I do some YouTube videos and I do some Instagram reels. And we also build an email list. And so every single person just gets into the free course. And the magnet there is just that it is a free course, so you get free value. But then we offer them, once they get into the free course, we have like a free school onboarding call, as we call it. So we kind of onboard them into school and talk about school. And then also on that call, we present the paid community. So it's kind of what you explained.
Very
pretty much what you explained. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And I really love it because you're actually providing some real value first, right? And so there's the free course. Then they have the onboarding call and they can make a really educated decision. So why I'm so excited about that is that I think this also almost guarantees that you get higher quality people into your paid community, which then overall lifts the quality of the paid community. So that's bloody genius. Your paid community is a little bit higher priced than mine, right? So I think is it 127 a month or where are you?
Yeah, 125.
125. And so would you say for people that have kind of lower priced memberships that that's also a viable kind of route to go down? Or would you say this is more kind of I think 125 a month still is very accessible, right? For especially if you consider that your target audience is business owners. But I think many people have kind of lower priced memberships. Would you say that's also a viable strategy? Or would you say, no, you kind of need a little bit of a higher monthly ticket for that to make sense?
Well, I think it works for, like, if you have something that is very, very low, it might not make sense. But as long as you have something above 50, I guess, it would make sense to do like an onboarding call. Because our setters, or we call them specialists, they get like a monthly recurring payment for that. So it's still very valuable. And if you have something cheaper, you can most likely convert more people. So you can build that up faster. And if you have something more expensive, it's a little bit more friction, and but you earn more per person that sign up as well.
Absolutely. And so you're not doing the calls yourself. You have setters, right? That you just said?
Yes.
That's also so genius. I love how you basically create a full ecosystem where everybody can also grow with you. I think that's really, really genius. Is that intentional, or did it more or less kind of happen that you have this ecosystem where people can grow with you?
It actually came organically from the community, because we had some people who saw this opportunity, and I was like, no, we should wait for the integrated tracking affiliate program because it's going to be hard to track. And they're like, no, actually, it's not going to be hard to track. So it was actually some people from the community who started to push it. And once I found people from within the community as well, everything became so easy. I didn't have to train them. I didn't have to look for them. I didn't have to tell them about what I do and what my products are. Like, they knew everything. It was literally Miles that I found out recently. I messaged him, would you be interested in doing this as well? Took him like a day, and then he had a full calendar, was doing calls and we were closing people, simply because he already knew me and the community. So it was very simple.
He already was a super fan, basically.
Yeah, he's been through my paid and been getting results from it. And
so cool. Do you think that, I believe you have an agency background? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I saw that a little bit on your YouTube channel when I was going back. I was stalking your YouTube channel because I also realized that you work with Kai, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I want to see kind of how you're utilizing the thumbnails and everything. Because I'm feeling I don't have a fully clear vision for that for myself yet, which is something that I'm usually not used to. So I was kind of saying, okay, what are you guys doing? What are you leaning into? And I scrolled a little bit back and then I saw, oh, you have an agency background. So that totally made sense for me then, seeing how you hold yourself, right? So I think you have a different approach to things when you come from an industry where you're a service provider. Do you think that your agency background helped you building up what you currently have and being so successful on Skool, or?
Yeah, I'm very thankful for the lessons that I got from like the service-based business with an agency and learning sales, and it's a very stressful business because you can lose clients, and you know it's a lot of work and all of that. So I'm very happy for what I learned. But what I'm most happy about is that I learned that I didn't want to grow that business. I didn't want to like do necessarily sales calls, and I didn't want to like sell my time in a way. So that's why I'm so excited about Skool, because you have a business model that is 100% scalable. But yeah, I got a lot from it, which mainly sales and just understanding that and those types of things. Yeah.
Beautiful. I think providing a service online is probably like one of the easiest way to the first dollar. And communities, I believe, are a little bit more challenging. Do you think it's possible for people to jump directly to communities? And if yes, under what circumstances?
Yeah, like as with everything online, or with everything we sell, I think we just need to have something to sell that people want. And I think that was a big challenge for me when I started, because I thought that if I had something that I wanted, then everybody else wanted it. And then I quickly realized that that wasn't the case. And so it's just becoming more apparent for me now every single day when I work, and when I listen to people who make a lot more money than me as well, that they just obsess over like, do we have something that the marketplace actually wants? And when we do have that, everything else becomes very easy. And if that is a service, or if it's a community, or if it's a product or a software or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. It's just figuring out what the marketplace wants and then give them that. But I do also agree that making your first dollar with the service-based business is probably in a way a bit easier, because you can sell your time and you can actually deliver something tangible for somebody and they pay you. Yeah.
And so I fully agree with you, by the way. I recently did a post also in the Skool Games community about going kind of the low risk route. So picking something that you see is clearly in demand. Now you are on Skool, right? And you help people to grow their school. I see that a lot of people attempting this, but still you are the leader on the leaderboard for that. So how do you go about differentiating yourself once you're going after that product that has this clear product to market fit?
Yes, my strategy has always been to, like, since I come from this agency background where sales is, I'm used to sales where you're talking to a person, they have no idea who you are, and you purely sell them on value. And you only really need, you really need to do a sales call if you're going to do that. I had no organic traffic. I was not doing any value upfront the calls. We're just getting people in who were interested in getting more leads. And then I tried to sell them with like a presentation. So since I wanted to get away from that and like not do sales call in a way, I was like, okay, I just need to provide as much value upfront so that people, when they do decide if they want to buy from me or not, they already know me and they know what I do, and they know the value that I can provide. And so that's how it started. I wanted to get away from sales calls, and then I started to observe like Alex Ramosi, and I heard like a quote from Mr. Beast where he said that, he said it very bluntly, but he said like, if you have a paywall on something, you're stupid, is what Mr. Beast said, because you're losing a lot of people. I know that everybody has like different strategies, but that's what I took and wanted to like explore more. And I saw that Alex Ramosi gave away a lot of value for free. And so that's kind of the route that I explored. And so to answer your question, that's how I try to differentiate myself, by just providing a lot of value for free, so that I don't have to like do that initial sell or like say it with like convincing people why they should buy. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful insight. Thank you so much for sharing. When you said it, there were two questions kind of popping up that I would love your opinion and thoughts on, because you have been through this, right? So I think the first hurdle that comes up for you when you start to give away the farm for free is you start to have this feeling, is there enough behind the paywall, right? So, or what I'm noticing with my members, because I'm also trying to teach my members to lead with value and give, a lot away for free and really leverage reciprocity. And I see that a lot of people have so much resistance towards that, because they're feeling like, I'm giving away the farm. What is then even left in my membership or in my course? What's your take on that? I would love to know.
Like, the first thing that pops into my head is that the reason why it works is because everybody thinks like that. Everybody thinks that they're going to give everything away. And it comes from like a scarcity mindset. And I had that a lot when I tried this first out. I was like, okay, it's like, I'm not going to get paid if I give it away. But then I realized that it's actually easier for me to get paid when I give stuff away. And even like Ted Carr, for example, he gives away all of his trainings for free. And then people just pay him for the like access to him and the Q&A calls. So, I think people should start to give away more stuff and give away like the most valuable stuff first. Like give that away, give people like a taste of what it is that you do. And then they pay for more access to you and more training and more help and more support, because people will always pay for achieving their goals faster and easier. Yeah.
I love that. And so I'm very much down that line. And for me personally, it also has led to a lot of success. And so the other thing that for me happened next after I went down this route and after I encouraged my students to go down this route was that we saw a backlash around, everybody just giving all this value for free is a race to the bottom, right? So you can look up, there were videos about Alex Ramosi destroying the industry by, giving all the value away for free. What's your take on that? Do you feel it's a race to the bottom, or how do you conceptualize that for yourself? Are you afraid of somebody just coming in, giving even more for free, or how do you deal with it? Or what's your thoughts around that?
Like, the way I always think about it, and this is something that I heard from Sam Ovens way back. I think he did say this on like a Q&A call on like Consulting Accelerator days or Up Level. Like it's a long time ago. Or if he said it in a course, I don't remember. But he said like the one who provides the most value wins in the marketplace, right? So that's what I kept with me when I ran my agency all the time. Like if I can provide better results for my clients, I'm going to win. Like, and they will not mind paying me a lot more if I can provide better results. So that's what I keep in mind now as well, when it comes to what I do right now with Skool and my communities, etc. Is that if I just focus on providing more value to the marketplace, I will be fine, because people will see that I provide a lot of value and they will want to pay for that. And if there is somebody who gives away more stuff than me, like, that's fine. I don't really focus too much on that. Like I just try to control what I can control. So if I know what I'm giving away for free is really, really good, and if I control kind of my world and my plan, and if I know what I'm doing is a solid plan, I can like focus on that. I'm not gonna get too strayed away or distracted or influenced by what other people are doing in a way.
Yeah.
I kind of sell myself on my own plan first, and then I stick to it.
That's, I think, such an important insight. And I also feel like the more you're standing in your truth and the more you're standing in your conviction, while always being open for this worked for this person, right? And so, I'm going to just carry that on to my community. Check out this amazing person. They're doing this, right? So I believe that as long as you're standing in, okay, what's working for me personally from my own experience, and you're passing on your own experience. I also have made that I also see that kind of differentiates yourself, and people also resonate with different characters, I believe. Who are the type of people that most resonate with you? Like when you're looking in your community, who are your type of people that you see is kind of, they're coming and they're sticking. They're just your 1,000 fans.
Yeah, like I think that is very true, that you get people who kind of resonate with the creator, like that people want to, they join the community because the creator of the community is kind of similar to that person. And I agree with that. But then when I started my first free course, which was on how to start a marketing agency, 99% of people who joined that, or SMMA as it's called, social media marketing agency, which was a free community and it grew fairly quickly. 99% of people there were like guys between, I want to say, on the low end, 16-year-old up to like maybe 22 years old.
Oh, wow.
So that was that. And now when I do my current community, it's actually very diverse. It's still mostly male, but we also have a lot more females coming in, or girls, women coming in, which is great. And it's also very different age groups. It's from younger people up to, you know, Ray, for example, who's crushing it in our community. He's an ex-football or goalkeeper, and he's like, I don't know how old he is, 50 or something. And so it's very diverse. I think it has to do with the creator of the community, but it's also people very much so like they are drawn to not only the creator, but like the product.
Yeah,
exactly. The opportunity, or kind of what is being taught there in a way. Yeah. I think it's a mix of both.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's so interesting, because I also see how my clientele shifted a lot once I started to talk more about low ticket specifically. So that's very interesting to hear that you had that observation. So kind of quick recap, your first dollar online was with a marketing agency, is that right? So
yes, yeah.
And was that your background? Kind of, did you have study marketing, or did you do it in work and then you kind of branched out from it? How did that happen?
How the journey began was that I wanted to make something online, essentially. And then I started to study coding, and I quickly realized that coding wasn't for me at all. And so my first dollar wasn't actually with an agency. It was with affiliate marketing, learning how to build like SEO and using the Amazon affiliate program. So I found like a guy in the US, and he was very good at it, and he kind of became a mentor, and I started working for him for free. Eventually I got a salary and some commission on what I did for him. We basically built out niche websites. Like, for example, when people Google for the best bed sheets, for example, we had a website that ranked very high on Google. So we were checking out like, what do people search for? We built small websites, we ranked for those keywords, and then we monetized it with the Amazon affiliate program. And so I learned that first, and then I was like, okay, I should start to sell my knowledge of SEO to other people because I'm very good at this. And I created my own website. I started to rank number 2 or 3 for New York SEO, which was actually pretty good. And then I sat back and I was like, okay, now everybody's going to call me and want to work with me. And nothing happened. I was like, oh, okay. I knew nothing about sales. And that's when I joined Consulting Accelerator with Sam Alvin's course. And that's when I started to look into service-based business. And instead of doing SEO, I started to look into paid ads because I could more so kind of control the lead flow to people. So that's kind of how I made my first dollar online. Yeah.
So cool. And then I also love how you're seeing, or started seeing early, the 2 layers of kind of mastering something, and then the better opportunity vehicle is to also help others kind of get to that level. I hope you don't mind me asking, but it's something that I personally also receive as critique. And I also saw under, I think it was a short of you, where it was like a school about teaching people how to have a school. I would just love to know how you're addressing this when you hear this point of critique, you know, about mastering something and then up leveling the food chain and teaching what you just mastered.
Yeah, like it's just part of the process, I feel like, of being an entrepreneur, is that you do something, and then when you want to take it to the next level, you leverage what you've done. And then you start to do that, and then you learn something new. And then you learn that, okay, now I can leverage this to do something else. So it just becomes a game of leveraging your experience to up yourself all the time, and at the same time trying to fit this into something that you're actually like and that you're passionate about. Because running an agency, I was helping roofers with Facebook ads. And it was making good money for me back then. High profit margins. I didn't really need to pay a lot of people, but I wasn't interested in roofing at all. I love the people but I didn't like that. And then when I started to build communities, I really, really started to like that. And then the opportunity with Skool came up. It's a huge trend. And I was like, I'm just going to piggyback and go all in on this. But like, to answer your question directly, like, how do I, what do I like? It's just part of it. I feel like it's going to happen. So like, I don't know. I expect it. I don't really don't spend too much energy on it, I guess.
I think for me, the biggest argument is to explain. I mean, I usually don't go into the conversation because then somebody already has made up their mind about it. But I typically like to explain it in a way that the way we grow is in levels as well, right? So somebody would need to master first the foundations before they can go to the next level. Similar, like Alex Ramosi said on that day that we had with him, if you can't be punctual to a meeting, right? Don't ask me about how to make your first million online. And so kind of the way that I'm seeing it as well is people want to jump into a level 10 opportunity when they have a level 1 skill set. And so I believe that just because of those skill set levels, right, and the experience and skills you need to stack, as you level up, you can help somebody to kind of climb the next stage. And I also believe that there's an opportunity for new creators, because you and I are at a stage where we probably already have forgotten some of the early struggles, right? And we cannot probably emphasize with them in a way that we were used to be able to emphasize with them.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, the online education industry, it's kind of how it works, right? So I don't see why it's better or worse to, let's say, my first course was, I learned how to grow a marketing agency, and then I taught other people how to grow a marketing agency. But what happens a lot of the times is that you learn a skill, and then you start to teach others about the skill. And when you teach others about the skill, you actually make more money from teaching others how to do it, right? So a lot of people who sell courses on how to start a marketing agency, let's say, a lot of them don't even have an agency anymore. Because they make more money from teaching others how to do it. And I don't see any wrong in that neither at all. But at the same time, if you teach something that you're doing yourself, for example, if you run a course and you teach others about how to run a course, then you're just practicing the thing that you're teaching as well. So, there's no right or wrong with either of them. It's just like how the online education industry is kind of how it works. In a way.
But I do believe, like, especially with online opportunities, if you're getting out of it, you can get rusty quickly because things change so quickly, right? Facebook ads are already different than they were half a year ago now, with the Advantage Plus targeting and the shopping campaigns that get more efficient. So I believe that what you're doing right now, when you're running a community, you're really at the pulse of it, and you're helping so many people execute in real time. That's just a lot of very accurate, very last, like, you know, at the pulse of it's happening kind of data that you have access to. So I do believe that that's more valuable than if you would have already outgrown I have a community stage and you would just now sell it as a evergreen kind of self-studier. So I believe you're adding a lot more value the way you have set it up. Yeah.
And I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And it's a never-ending game. It's never going to end, which I like as well. And it's scalable. So
what do you like most about it? What do you enjoy most about it?
About like building a course, or like Skool in general, or
what you're doing right now? And what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Like what?
Yeah. Like what I enjoy the most is that I can work on something that will never end. Because that is something that happened with the agency where I could scale it to a point and I was like, oh, like I don't want to scale this thing anymore because it's stressful. It eats up my time. And yeah, it was hard. It was tough. And I knew that if I'm going to scale this, I will have to hire more people. I don't know if I want to do that, like, and the profit margins. So it was just hard, and hiring salespeople. And I didn't really honestly enjoy the business model. What was what it comes down to. So what I enjoy now is that I have to do something, right? Or we entrepreneurs, we have to do something. And now when I have a game that I can play that will never really end, and I can put a lot of time, a lot of energy into it, that is like the main thing. I can just continue to like work on it, I guess. So that's what I enjoy the most. I see huge potential in it. It's a huge trend, which makes it even more fun. And it's just going to become bigger. And what I do on a daily basis is basically promoting and building. So I try to grow this thing. So figure out ways on how we can grow it. And also then creating course material. That is basically what I do. Promoting and building at the same time. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I just heard between the lines that the business model is really, really crucial, right, for your success. What do you think is the best opportunity about the business model that you have set up? Or maybe you could even, for the person listening, give a bird's eye overview of the model that you have. And then who do you think it's for? Who do you think it's not for?
Yes. So the best thing about a low ticket recurring product, and even a free product that you can monetize in different ways. But the best thing about it is that it's scalable. So I'm not selling my time, but I'm selling a course that I can sell that to 10 people, or I can sell it to 100 people, or 1,000, or 10,000, or 100,000 people. So the service delivery is a digital service delivery. So it's scalable. That's like the first thing. And if you can sell something that is scalable without giving up your time, like if people can come to a checkout page and just buy it from you, or start a free trial and buy it, that's great. Now we just talked about that we do onboarding calls, which is sales calls, but that's not really mandatory. So yeah, if I can have a product that is scalable and I don't have to sell my time, that's really, really good. And the cool thing about Skool is that anybody and everybody can monetize a passion or skill that they have. So it doesn't have to be this money-making opportunity anymore, where you create a course on how to make money with Instagram or with ads, but you can actually monetize like a passion that you have. For example, there's one girl on Skool right now. She has a community about goats, and she makes like $5,000 per month. So it's just a community about how to take care of goats. Yeah. So she knows how to take care of goats, and then it teaches other people how to take care of goats. And then it's a community about people who love goats and want to learn more about goats. And so she does what she loves. Yeah, it's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah. And then we have the community aspect to it, and you have the course aspect to it. And so that's really what Skool opened up, that you can monetize literally any passion or skill that you enjoy and that other people enjoy as well. And then also what the most powerful thing about Skool is that it creates an ecosystem. So it makes it very simple for people that begin, where you have, the payments are integrated. If they come up with free trials soon, you don't have to have like a funnel builder. You don't have to have an email list. Like everything that we need as online marketers to grow, start running, grow, and sell a product online. Like everything is just packaged for us in Skool. So who it is for? It's basically somebody who want to start make money online by building a community around something that they enjoy. Essentially, that's what it is. And how much I make right now with my community is that I have a paid community that makes right now $75,000 per month, and then I have a free community with some integrated affiliate programs. So I promote different softwares online. So that generates another around $60,000 per month. And then I still have some of my older clients. Most of them I don't serve anymore. But in total, the business is generating 135 to 140 right now, and it's growing every month. And I'm not selling my time, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, and actually do something that I enjoy. Yeah.
I hear that that's really important to you, not selling your time. when was that moment where you were clear that that is something that has to end?
Yes. It was when I ran my agency. And I'm super thankful for my agency and that I did that. I'm still recommending people to like explore that because it's such it gives you all of the lessons that you need about sales and service delivery and support and all of that. But it was basically when I grew my agency to around $50,000 per month, and I didn't want to take on more clients because I was stressed out. Not only about like you can lose clients. It's very results based as well, running an agency, because if you do poor results, they can always go to somebody else. And I was doing calls like all the time. And I'm in Sweden. I sold to the US. I was doing calls to like 9-10 p.m. like just back to back, and just like I love sales, but I was like, I can't do this going forward, like in the future. So that's when I just started to obsess about like, how can I have a business model where I don't have to do sales calls? And I can scale it past $50,000 per month, way past $50,000 per month. So yeah.
And how did that kind of growth beyond the 50K a month and in general the growth of the business, how did that shape your personal growth? When looking back, what do you think was shaping you most, and what are the takeaways that you would give the person listening?
Yeah, like entrepreneurship is not easy. And I like the more successful entrepreneurs we meet, the more pain and suffering they've been going through. Like, so it really hardens you, which is great. I love that because it's, like it isn't easy. And a lot of people in the beginning, they might look up to the people who it's working for right now and like, oh, it's so easy for you guys. Because like you already have a brand or you already have an audience, even though it's not big, but you already have all of this stuff going for you. But what they don't see is that it's hard for everybody, every single person. So you get hit in the face, like not literally, but like you go through trials and tribulations, and it's hard, and you feel like everything is hopeless, and then you continue anyways, and then so it's just like, yeah, it gives you a character, like, and it learns you a lot of great lessons about just being a human being in general, I feel like. Yeah.
What would you say was like the darkest moment of that growth journey?
Well, like a lot of stuff had happened. Like, for example, when that mentor that I mentioned that I was learning affiliate marketing from, when I transitioned from that over to like my service-based business, I lost everything there. Like I had a girlfriend, she broke up with me. I had no place to live. I had to move back to my parents, live in their little house on the yard type of thing. I was not making a lot. So you could argue, you could say that was like a dark period. But when I look back at it, like that was one of the best periods through the entire thing, because I had like a super, like a flame, like a burning like stove in my belly. To like, I had on my whiteboard, like I have two options. I either make this work or I make this work type of thing. So I felt very alive during that period. So I don't think people should be afraid of those periods when it's like goes sideways. Normally it forces you to improve. That's really what pain does. It's like it forces you to change, which is great. Because you normally just come out better from those situations than you were before. A lot better, actually.
Yeah. And when the dark time was, what was the first moment of light? And what was the moment when you were like, okay, I'm out on the other side?
Well, that was, it forced me to just like go into the Samavins trainings, and I got my first client. And then from that, I got my first roofing client pretty nearly after that. Which was one of the top 100 biggest roofing contractors in the US. Got great results for them. Eventually, they paid me over 10 grand a month. Then they referred me another client, which paid another 10 grand a month. And then I was off to the races. So, and then I started to scale it. And yeah, so it turned out great after that. Yeah.
And how did your environment react to that growth?
Yeah, you mean in terms of like people or stuff like
You
that?
mentioned former girlfriend broke up, right, in that
Yeah,
time. And then there was a little bit of a dark time when you moved back in with your parents. How did they view it, right? And what happened
yeah,
when that moment when you had the big contractor and you were making 20K a month and that was not enough at that time. So how did they follow
yeah.
along?
Like my parents, if we start there, they've always been like, like supportive, but super supportive. But at the same time, they're like they don't really care. They're just like, yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, you're great. If it's going great, they're oh you're doing so great, and if it's going bad, they're like, oh yeah, you're doing so great. Like they just like, oh yeah. So they're great parents. I love it. I've always had like a safe haven with my parents. I can go there, I can eat, I can just chill. I normally get super tired when I get home back with my parents. I guess like subconsciously I just relax.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. But then from like a more like social perspective, like from friends and stuff, like I've lost, I don't want to say lost, but yeah, I guess lost is where like all of my friends that I had when I was growing up, I've
Mm-hmm.
lost pretty much all of them. I don't have any of those friends left, which is understandable because I just went all in on trying to make this thing like go into entrepreneurship. And I was just sitting inside with my computer trying to figure stuff out. And while they were out and about and doing their things, and Max is not a part of the group anymore, like all of my old friends are just gone. And some of them don't even like talk with me if I see them anymore, which is weird. I don't know why. Like it's almost like I don't know. Yeah, people don't like when you change in a way. So that can be very tough for people, I feel like, as well, when you start like an entrepreneurial journey, because people don't understand really what you're going through and you have to give it your all in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think everybody goes through that because you change. You do. You have to change to make it work. And some people don't want people to change. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think in a way it is also when you're actualizing your full potential, I do believe that it is you're this scarecrow reminder that they are living below what they could be. So I believe that sometimes can be triggering for people. And then I also think, especially with the online world, there's a lot of prejudice and unfavorable associations as well. Did you experience something like that, or is that just an Austrian thing?
What do you mean? Like if people...
I have a lot of people that have like prejudice, right? So when you're making money online, that it can't be something like legitimate, things like that.
Oh, like they're kind of like judging you in a way. They think you're going to be a certain way, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
I honestly, like most of the people that I hang around with right now are just entrepreneurs. I sometimes I joke with people, like I've almost forgot how it is to like just talk with people who are not entrepreneurs in a way. Like I don't really know, like what do you talk about? Do you talk about sports, or do you talk about like going out on the weekends, or like what? I don't know what you talk about in a way.
How does this work?
So, it's actually kind of like that. But so I've just associated myself with people who are entrepreneurs as well, I guess. So I haven't really experienced like judgmental stuff like that in a way. But yeah, it's just like, even if it happens, like I guess it's great because then you really know the character of them in a way. And it's also so cool when you meet people then like old friends that you used to grow up with, or parents, like people that you like, that love you and you love them no matter what, because you can spend time with them. And it's just like when you were kids, like you don't care like if you're out on the streets or if you're like living in the top of a penthouse or whatever. It's just like at the end of the day, we're just people in a way. Yeah.
What's your favorite success story of a student?
My favorite success story was actually in my free course when I taught people about marketing agencies. And this young guy, 16 years old, started to show up for all of the calls. And a year later, he went all in. He just worked super hard. He was from the UK. He was very open about not only like he was asking very honest questions. Like he truly wanted to learn, and he wasn't afraid of like asking vulnerable questions. Like he was like, yes, things are actually bad right now. Like this is tough. I don't know what to do. And he wasn't afraid to like fail. So he failed very fast, and he was so young. He was just 16. And a year later, he had an agency making 100 grand a month. Wow. When he was like, before he turned 18. So that was pretty insane. And it was not only because of my course, because he joined a bunch of other courses as well. But yeah, I talked with him a lot. And I think one of my courses was probably like one of the first, if not the first courses that he went through. Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. No. Do you still know what he's up to these days, or have you lost touch?
I talked with him a couple of months ago, and he is also going through, this thing where like he moved he lived with his parents, so he rented a place someplace else where he's just alone. And he's also going through this now, trying to figure out what to do. Like, okay, I've mastered kind of the agency game. Like, is this really what I wanted to do? And trying to find himself and experience everything with his old friends and like all of that chaos that happens. So yeah, but he's moving forward in a way, I guess. And I talked to him like a couple of months ago. He's doing great.
That's so cool. That's also interesting. I think that kind of this journey happens for everyone.
Yeah.
Where you climb one mountain just to look around and are like, oh, this is not the right mountain. I think I should be over there. Let me climb all the way down again to get back up. So I think that's so interesting that that we can normalize it. That's later on in the journey though. Somebody who is now starting completely from scratch or really pivoting and they want to get into paid communities. What's your number one recommendation for them? Where should they start? Should they just start one course, fully focus on that? Should they also shop around? Should they lean in? Like, where would you say they should start?
Yeah, like, I think the first thing somebody needs to realize is that there's so many different ways to get into the mountain. Like, what works for one person is a great way to go. What works for another person is also a great way to go. And like, there's so many different solutions, and there's no right or wrong. Yeah, but I still think it's great to learn from somebody who's ahead of you. And then what I think is like a super huge thing, which most of us don't do, is to like sell yourself on your own plan first. You need to know what you want to do and what your plan of action is. Because if you don't know what your plan of action is, you're going to so easily get influenced by what other people do. And you're going to get like niche jump or shiny object syndrome, as it's called, right? Yeah. So like, think and plan a lot more, and then sell yourself on your plan. Because then when somebody comes with an opportunity, you can be like, compare their plan with your own plan. You're like, okay, but my plan is actually better than theirs, so I'm going to stick with mine. So that is that. And then also, I would just reiterate what Sam told me. And it was like, if you're not making any income right now, I would just like get a job or work for somebody else online, or just get some income so that you get rid of the stress that you have to make money now. Because then you can more focus on the plan and have like a more long-term strategy and actually work on something that you enjoy, that you're going to stick to for the long term. And then you don't have to stress about the income, like that thing have to make money like right now. Yeah.
I love that you brought this up. It's one of the best things I think he could have said, and something I 100% agree with. The more you kind of operate from this scarcity, it has to work tomorrow, the more money you'll eventually lose, and the more rabbit holes you go down that don't lead anywhere. Thank you so much for your time, Max. Where can people find you? You mentioned the free course. Maybe we can link that for people. So
yeah,
let me know.
It's just Max Perzon. You can search for on YouTube or Instagram, and then we can link the free community as well if people want to join and check it out. Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.